well done. Love it. Next, we've got Brooke and Matt presenting. They are both new members this year. I know Brooke is a holistic nutritionist and lifestyle transformational guide. I love that in your email, Brooke, that you had this quote, pay the farmer now or the doctor later. How brilliant that is and how so true it is. So I thought I would add that in the email that went out to everybody. I did not realize Matt would be joining you, Brooke. I forgot to add your name, Matt. So I'm glad you're both here. Welcome. And I'm just going to have you both introduce yourself.
Amazing. Yeah. And we have a little slideshow too.
Okay, we'll go with small screen then.
Absolutely.
There's your favorite quote, Karen.
I love it.
Well, sweet. I know we saw that in the email. You put pay the farmer now or the doctor later. So we just titled that for today's presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. You know, we've really enjoyed being a part of this community over the last couple months. And I know for me, I'm Canadian, Brooks from America, and we met on a bit of a journey of exploration last year in the States. And I've been on this serious pursuit to connect with more freedom fighters and sovereignty educators on the Canadian side. So I've been really enjoying the speakers every week and just connecting with a bunch of you guys individually. I know I've had some calls with some of you who are on the call tonight, and yeah, we're just excited to be able to contribute some of the wisdom we've picked up along the way, and to be able to be here with everyone tonight. So pay the farmer now or pay the doctor later. So who are we? No, we are not models. This was a photo taken of us last year on our road trip. And like I mentioned, Brooke and I met out in the deserts of Sedona, actually at a conscious gathering in the desert. And we really connected over all things health and wellness. I'm a civil engineer originally by trade. And fortunately discovered very early on in my career that the cubicle was not for me, that thriving well-being and a thriving life was not exuding my bones by living that kind of lifestyle. I was chasing the mountains. I was chasing being outdoors and being more of service in the world. So eventually I found personal development and was able to discover that coaching was the realm where I was able to make the biggest impact and the biggest difference. And that actually stemmed from some serious trauma and coping mechanisms that I had fostered along my journey. But that being said, the last 7 years, I've been an accountability and empowerment coach. And after connecting with Brooke and diving into her expertise in the nutrition and wellness space, beyond getting romantically involved, we decided to get involved in business together and partner up on this mission to empower people into living a thriving life. So we've founded something called the Rise to Thrive community, the Rise to Thrive tribe. And that's really around building a life rooted in vitality, connection, and play.
So yeah, here's a photo of, or two photos of me back in 2015, and then fast forward to 2022. It's actually in the red dirt of Sedona where me and Matt met last year. Yeah, so basically my background is in nutrition. That's what I went to school to study. And the irony of that was, as I was going to school, I was in the worst health of my entire life. And I was really steeped in the clinical, I was on a path to becoming a dietitian. So most of my education was really clinically based. And I had the opportunity to work underneath the dietitian in the hospital system. And I also worked for a doctor during my time in university as well. And so I really got to see everything that I didn't want. Yeah, there was very little education about food as medicine, which is really what I wanted to study. And so I was really let down by my education, and then also by the Western medical system, where no one could support me in really getting to the root cause of why I was having the digestive issues that I was having at the time. And so it wasn't until I went and saw my chiropractor in my hometown in Northern California, where I'm from, who was able to identify like where I was having my digestive issues without me even saying a word to her, which was amazing. So that kind of propelled me on my own journey to really understanding what true health looked like and felt like in my body. And yeah, I went to study yoga in India, and then I kind of dove into Ayurveda, and yeah, basically led me to waking up to proper hydration and then waking up to the power of superfood nutrition. And that led me to a better understanding of what's going on with our soil health and how that is impacting us on our human bodies and planetary health as well. And so, yeah, I basically have healed all my chronic digestive issues. And basically, I'm on a path to educate and empower people with the tools and resources that have supported me along the way.
All right. So, I mean, this community is no stranger to the nonsense that is our medical system, especially out on the West Coast. I know we've met a lot of people from BC and really have learned the sad turn that things have taken in terms of our healthcare system, or our should we say our sick care system. But we'll just go through a few stats that were kind of shocking to us.
I mean, yeah, yeah, 75% of Americans are now overweight or obese. Over half of Americans have type 2 or pre-diabetes. Or infertility is going up 1% every year. 1 in 36 children have autism, and in California, that's 1 in 22, which is pretty astronomical. 25% of men under 40 have erectile dysfunction. Testosterone levels are dropping, autoimmune disease is skyrocketing. 25% of women are on SSRIs. And yeah, let's see. I mean, the girls are going through puberty at a crazy early age, with some children reaching sexual maturity at age 10. And yeah, I mean, we're not sleeping well at all. We're sleeping 20% less than we were 100 years ago, and sleep is everything. It's where all of our repair and regeneration happens. So yeah, we're basically at a pretty big tipping point right now when it comes to the chronic health epidemic. So ultimately, I mean, our medical spending is really on managing disease that is already happening. And then 80% of medical schools don't require a single nutrition course. Like, this is insane. And then, of course, me having my background in nutrition, like how little I actually learned about food as medicine was just mind blowing. So, yeah, something we said about that. And then basically, yeah, 90% of healthcare costs are now related to diseases that are tied to our food. This is so fundamental and so foundational to being a human. And medical error and medication is the third leading cause of death in the United States.
And beyond that, a lot of these diseases and ailments stem from the amount of pesticides that are sprayed all over our foods from a chemical farming system. So 6 billion pounds of pesticides are sprayed on our global food supply every year. And these have been proven and have been tied to autoimmune disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, obesity, metabolic syndrome, infertility, ADHD, and all sorts of mitochondrial dysfunction and liver dysfunction.
Which is crazy. Less than 100 years ago, there is no chemical sprayed on our land.
And we'll be diving into one of the big culprits in a moment here. But beyond that as well, because of this large scale mass produced farming system that we source most of our food from, we walk to the grocery store and we pick up food off the shelf. And I know, even for myself, up until a couple of years ago, I didn't really think too deeply into that. It's just like, this is the culture that we live in. This is the society we live in. We walk to the store, we pick up food off a shelf, but we don't often think of like what it takes for that food to get here. And after really learning and diving deep into this, it's really the depletion of this food through that system that really impacts us. So we're actually eating more food these days and are getting way less vitamins, minerals, nutrition, because the soil has actually been over-farmed, over-tilled, and this food has been genetically modified and has been picked way too early and is trucked across, who knows how many miles to get to our grocery stores. By the time we get it home, it just doesn't have the nutritional value that our ancestors once got to benefit from. So as an example, it as many as 10 to 15 conventionally grown carrots we would have to eat to get the nutrient density of one regeneratively grown carrot. And this is mind-boggling to most of us. We think, hey, I'm doing good things, I'm eating organic, I'm eating good quality food, that I'm cooking for myself, I'm not eating processed. But at the same time, there's still a massive gap there. And after learning deeply around the practices of regenerative farming, and after living over a year and a half of sourcing my food from farmers markets and talking to farmers and getting even closer to the source of real regeneratively grown food, you notice the difference when you eat it, how you feel. So that's what we're encouraging more of. And there's a big, large scale effort to be bringing more of those practices to larger scales as well.
Okay, so this is a big one. Glyphosate and all the chemical exposure. Like, I did not know anything about glyphosate until a few years ago. And that was mind-blowing to me that I never learned anything about this chemical. And this is the active herbicide that's found in Roundup weed killer. And it's an antibiotic. It's anti-life. It's literally going in and killing all the beneficial bacteria in our gut. And what it's doing is it's damaging our microvilli and these tight junction systems that are holding our digestive system together. And so when this is disrupted, then these tight junctions, these like Velcro systems, start to break apart, and then that causes leaky gut, which is linked to autoimmune disorders and chronic inflammation, which we know is really the source of all dis-ease. So ultimately, it causes just a whole cascade of issues in our bodies. And so much of, what people are experiencing is linked to gut health. And that was my experience fully. As soon as I started to address my gut and address glyphosate specifically, within 30 days, I was completely, I don't mean healed, but like all my chronic digestive issues vanished. And it was just miraculous. And so, yeah, as we know, the gut is known as a second brain. It produces 80% of the body's serotonin. So when you have a happy gut, you have a, better emotional state, better mental state. And then, of course, 95% of our immune system lives right outside the lining of our gut. So when we have a dysregulated gut, then we have a dysregulated immune system, dysregulated emotions, hormonal imbalances, and the list goes on and on. So basically, yeah, when glyphosate was introduced, autism rates started increasing. And so it's 1 in 36 now, and it used to be 1 in 6,000 before glyphosate was used. And glyphosate is water soluble, so it's found in our air, it's found in our water, it's found in our soil, and it's found in our rainfall. Like, we literally can't escape it.
So even after eliminating the use of glyphosate, it's going to be how long before we can actually get this out of our environment?
Decades. Yeah. I mean, at least a century for it to actually be gone from this planet. So even if we stop spraying our land today, like, we would still be exposed to this toxic chemical.
And then the third challenge that we're dealing with all of this toxicity that we're being bombarded with, again, this community is no stranger to all the 5G, it's the chemtrails, everything. We're being bombarded constantly. Our bodies are intelligent 100%, and we don't want to discredit that. The body's natural ability to detox and to flush toxicity from the body, but at the same time, it's overburdened at this point, and our bodies are feeling the impact of that. So it's now a point where the fast farming systems like depleting us of our amino acids, our micronutrients, our antioxidants. And because of this increased toxic load, we need to help the body as much as we can. So it's actually to a point now where, something like a detox, I know I had an interesting relationship with that word before. It's like, oh, I'm going to do a little 10-day juice cleanse and then I'm going to be good, but it's really about introducing this as a lifestyle and actually taking on practices to do daily detox every day, doing little things for yourself to actually be constantly flushing out the heavy metals, the toxic chemicals, bit by bit. So it's really important to be doing that every day.
So what is our solution? Is regenerative agriculture. I think this is a great little depiction of what is happening with the conventional agricultural system, which we have about 50 to 60 cycles of soil left if we continue farming this way. I mean, that's our lifetime, so we're big advocates of moving back into, ancestral agriculture, how our ancestors farmed and tended in the land, and getting back to living with the rhythm of nature.
Yeah, and if any of you guys have heard of the film Common Ground, it's a mind-blowing film that just completely blew me away. If you want to learn about the impact of the conventional agricultural system and how it's depleted our food system and the solutions and how farmers are actually becoming more profitable, the ones that have the bravery and the courage to go out and implement these regenerative practices, it's not more expensive to do. It can be done in a way that's actually very profitable and way better for all systems involved. So just let us know and we can drop the link later for that film if you haven't seen it. So in the meantime, as we focus on regenerating the soil, which is taking some time, but it's being done by some courageous few that are willing to be the ones out on the front lines taking on these practices. In the meantime, it's important to be bridging the gap nutritionally.
Yeah. And I, as a nutritionist and someone that really embodied health, I was still I was not in good health when I thought I was doing all the things, and I was very resistant to anything supplement, anything powder, anything like that. Like that was not my philosophy. My philosophy was I only eat whole foods. None of that felt right to me. Like intuitively, it didn't align until something changed. And I was introduced to a company that was actually doing things like beyond organic, beyond regenerative, and completely changed the game and the way that I viewed supplements and understood it, because not all supplements and powders are treated equally. In fact, most of the supplement industry is very oversaturated and very underregulated and may not even have the ingredients that it says. And you could just be causing your body even more harm than good and basically just throwing your money down the drain. So this company came into my world and completely just shattered my whole reality of, food as medicine, and really became like the education that I was seeking in my, when I went to school. And it's really what introduced me to glyphosate and took me down this whole rabbit hole of soil health and the connection to the microbiome. And so the Purium's a company, and it stands for Purium Premium. It's a made up word, and they're growing everything in like volcanic topsoil. So with a ton of minerals, green manure, spring water, they're doing regenerative practices before is even common knowledge. In fact, the USDA organic label exists because of the founder and formulator, Dave Sandoval. He helped lobby to get the organic labeling on our food. And they've been in business for almost 28 years. Everything is vine ripened and harvested at peak times. So it still has the most nutritional quality to it, and then dehydrated it with a proprietary way without using any heat. So it doesn't denature any of the enzymes. It's still a raw living food that has most of its life force energy in it. And especially compared to anything fast farmed, anything mass produced is being picked too early, put in refrigerators. It's losing a lot of its nutrition from the farm to the table. So Purium is a farm to family company that's doing everything the right way. They're testing everything with an in-house microbiologist for purity. There's no heavy metals, no GMOs, no pesticides, herbicides. insecticides, biocides, no binders, fillers, preservatives, any food dyes, any additives. Like, it's beyond pure food. It's like the most pure food that we can really find in this day and age. And the body can feel it and it knows it. And now I say that all my other food that I eat is actually supplementary to this. So yeah, I've been putting this in my body for almost 5 years. And Purium has a really big earth stewardship mission as well. So they're going completely plastic free with everything and switching to all compostable packaging, which is really rad.
So how do we start healing from our compromised food system? You know, we offer a package that's really about you fully experiencing a cellular reset for yourself, a gut transformation journey, and just experience it for yourself. The most effective, efficient, organic whole food healing system for nourishing the body, repairing the gut, and detoxing these harmful chemicals. So just given today, we don't have a lot of time. I'm just going to skim over this really quickly. But just due to the fast farming and chemical farming system depleting us of these essential amino acids, the micronutrients, the antioxidants, this is a holistic pack that's designed to fill those gaps for you. So it's got the nourishing micronutrition from the greens. You've got the most highly efficient amino acids for building lean muscle. You've got a tart cherry juice that is used to produce your own melatonin and help with anti-aging and inflammation. And then, of course, we've got our famous Biomedic, which is the glyphosate detox that Brooke's going to touch on a little bit deeper. And then we've got our parasite cleanser, which we recommend people take on once a quarter. Because the gut being so compromised, it creates an environment where these parasites like to live. And I can tell you firsthand, I'm going through another wave of this right now. And the worms leaving my body is not for the faint of heart. Okay.
Yeah, I am passing parasites right now as well. And so it just comes to show, like, as a healthy individual, doing all of the things that we are still, having to maintain, and like, no one is basically, like, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid the toxicity. You can't avoid the parasites. We recommend doing a parasite cleanse like once a season. So just as preventative care. And Biomedic, this right here is the most important protocol of our day and age because it is addressing glyphosate, which is destroying our health. And luckily it's getting a little bit more press now, but it definitely was flying under the radar. So now is a great time to be tapping into this protocol. So it's designed to flush the glyphosate out of the body and then to support the good gut bacteria and then to repair the lining of the gut so that we can actually be absorbing our nutrition. And so they've done a clinical study on them that showed that it reduced the glyphosate by 74% in just 6 weeks, and then a 75% reduction in C-reactive protein, which is your biomarker for inflammation, and then a 35% increase in your intestinal integrity. So this product and protocol alone is next level. And then it also has the stamp from the Glyphosate Detox, or the Detox Project, which is like a whole group that's doing amazing work testing a bunch of different products, and they have a whole database of what products have different levels of glyphosate in them. And so Purium's Biomedic has received the gold standard for actually not just being glyphosate free, but actually pulling the glyphosate out of our bodies. And then another part of our community is like a little sub community called the Million Mom Movement. I'm not a mom myself, but I'm so here for the children and their health. And so there's an amazing community that's all about empowerment and education, and they meet every single Friday on the Zoom world just to have different topics, share different tools, resources, and they have like a big mission to get as many moms and families and caregivers, an opportunity to really start making conscious choices for our children and for all the children of our future. So yeah, they're amazing. I've learned so much from them, and so many amazing, just high vibe, high level people in our community that are so generous with their time, with their information, their wisdom, just coming on to share from the goodness of their heart, because we all believe in this mission so much.
So just to wrap, I know this was a lot of information, really rapid fire. But if you want to dive in a little bit deeper with us, we are going to be holding a masterclass webinar that's an hour and a half to 2 hours next week in partnership with another health initiative. So if you'd like to attend that, that's one way you can dive even deeper into this material, ask questions. There's going to be a deep Q&A there as well. Also, the second way you can get involved is to begin your own ultimate lifestyle transformation, or if you want to sample the biomedic protocol, this link will lead you to a spot where you can get everyone in this community can get a $50 gift card. And then the third way you can connect is if you want to partner with us. So if you're a holistic health practitioner of sorts, or just a passionate, community leader, or you want to launch a side hustle, reach out to us. We'd love to support you on how to get generously compensated, not make an income. Brooke had me correct that in the slide earlier
Earn
today.
an income instead of
Earn an income.
No, we're not putting that. Karen's gonna see it, and everyone's gonna be like, "Have you been listening?"
Very good, you two. I love it.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time, and yeah, get connected with us. Our link goes to like our link tree, so follow our social medias, get connected, say hi. We love meeting new people. We love geeking out on all things holistic health and freedom, and yeah, this is a beautiful way that we've been able to tap into health freedom and financial freedom for ourselves as well.
Beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. Where are you both living now?
We're currently in White Rock, Vancouver.
Oh, I love White Rock. I love Sedona too. I love that you met there.
Yeah, it's pretty magical, but we live nomadically, so that's the thing. We're kind of traveling and weaving communities everywhere we go.
Good for you. That's the way to do it. Oh my gosh. And you're so right, Matt. Our bodies are very overburdened right now. So detoxing is definitely a lifestyle choice. So thank you, both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll move into a Q&A after we hear from our final presenter for the evening. So if you have questions for Matt and Brooke, please put them in the chat. And then Tanya's